Hello students, yes today you read finite verbs and non-finite verbs. Today we will see how many kinds of finite verbs, non-finite verbs are there. Non-finite verbs are which verbs? Not finite verbs are actually the verbs which do not do the function of a verb, which actually not used as a verb in a sentence. They actually do not form the tense of the sentence, and they do not also denote the action done by the subject of the sentence. In the verb chapter you saw that actually verbs are the words that tells the action, that denotes the action done by the subject of the sentence, and it also forms the tense of the sentence. But non-finites are such verbs which actually do not function like a verb. It actually does not form the tense of the sentence, and do not form the and do not denote the tense, do not denote the action also by the subject. So actually non-finites are different types of verbs. You saw that yesterday in their definition, and when I explained you the concept of non-finite. But today we will see how many non-finite verbs are there. Actually non-finite verbs are of three types. First, infinitives. Second, participle. And third, gerund. Once again, there are three kinds of non-finitive verbs: infinitives, participle, and gerund. In the copy you all will note like this, in this way. So student, actually first we will read the infinitives. What are the infinitives? You all know that a verb has many forms, and the first form of the verb, the basic form of a verb, is actually known as an infinitive when it is used with or without to in a sentence as a non-finite verb. When the first form of the verb, when the basic form of the verb, such as play, go, come, sing, these are the verbs in their basic forms. P1, the first form of the verb. When they are used in a sentence, but they are not used as a verb in a sentence. When they are not doing the job of a verb, when they are not functioning like a verb in a sentence, when they are not forming the tense, when they are not either forming the tense or denoting the action. So in that case, the verb is actually not doing the function of a verb, so that is non-finite verb. So when the first form of the verb is used as the non-finite verb in a sentence, with or without to, concentrate here, with or without to, then it is known as infinitive. Which verb is known as infinitive? The first form of the verb is known as infinitive when used as a non-finite verb in the sentence with or without to. So now, to understand this, from now actually we will read the uses of non-finite verbs. As I have told you, non-finites are actually does not function like a verb in a sentence. So obviously, the infinitive will also not be used as a verb in a sentence, because it is actually a non-finite verb. It is actually the kind of non-finite verb. So infinitive in a sentence is generally used as a noun, as an adjective, and as an adverb. Concentrate on the words underline. An infinitive, how an infinitive is used in a sentence. An infinitive in a sentence is used as a noun, as an adjective, and as an adverb. To understand this, you must know that how a noun is used in a sentence and how an adjective is used in a sentence. Many a time in the classroom, when I have asked this question, how a noun is used in a sentence, many students sometimes reply that they actually just give the definition of a noun. But that's what I am not asking. I am actually asking how a noun is used in a sentence, because until and unless you do not understand the uses of noun, adjective, and adverb in a sentence, you cannot understand infinitive, because infinitive is used as a noun, as an adjective, or as an adverb in a sentence. So the first thing you need to know that how a noun is used in a sentence. A noun actually used as a subject of a sentence, as a subject, as an object of a transitive verb. In the verb chapter you read the transitive or intransitive verb also. So as the subject, as the object, as the object of preposition, as the verb complement, noun in apposition. So these are the actually nouns are used in 5 forms in a sentence. We will read that in detail I will give you another class for that. But let's see here. When the first form of the verb, the basic form of the verb, used with or without to as a noun in a sentence, then it will be known as an infinitive. Or when used as an adjective in a sentence, then also it will be known as an adjective. So let's see it, some of the uses. Noun infinitive, actually when the infinitive will be used as the noun, it will be known as the noun infinitive. Noun infinitive is actually the first form of the verb, with or without to. And when it is used as a noun, and how a noun is used, a noun is actually used as a subject of the verb, as the object of the transitive verb, as the complement of an intransitive verb. So just like that, infinitives also will be used. The first form of the verb. Infinitives are actually the first form of the verb. To understand this, let's see one by one all its uses. First, as a subject, because noun is also used as a subject in a sentence. So the first form of the verb, it means infinitives also can take the place of a noun in a sentence, such as to swim is an exercise. Student, concentrate on this sentence, on this example. In this sentence, from to exercise, which is the subject? Subject is from before each. You all know that how you can recognize a subject in a sentence. The part before the verb in a sentence is actually known as the subject of the sentence. So in this sentence, the subject is actually from to swim, and the predicate part has started from is to exercise. Concentrate here. Is to exercise is actually the predicate, and every predicate starts from verb, and before the verb, the part of the sentence before the verb is actually the subject. So this subject, in place of the subject, look at here, concentrate here, the subject of this sentence is what? The subject of this sentence is actually to swim. To swim. Swim is actually the first form of the verb. Look at here, first form of the verb. And this first form of the verb in the sentence has been used with to, and has been used in place of what? Has been used in place of the subject of the sentence. So automatically, this first form of the verb, this infinitive, is doing the job of a noun in a sentence, because it is whose job to become a subject in a sentence? It is actually a noun's job to become a subject in a sentence. Here in this sentence, the subject of the sentence is actually the first form of the verb, and infinitive is doing, has been used just like a noun in a sentence. So it is a noun infinitive. It is an infinitive, and it is the first use of an infinitive, used like a noun. There are some other examples also. As a noun in a sentence, to see is to believe as the subject. In this sentence also, to see is the subject. To error is human. In this sentence also, to error is the subject. You would be seen so far that most of the subject in a sentence are actually nouns, but here in these three sentences, the subject of the sentence is not a noun. The subject of the sentence is actually a verb, but it has been used as the subject here in these sentences. So in these scenarios, this verb will be known as infinitive, because it has been used as a noun in a sentence with to. Now students, let's see its second use. The second use of an infinitive is as the object. The first use is as a subject, because noun is used as a subject in a sentence and as an object of direct speech, as the object of transitive verb in a sentence. So the second use of the infinitive also as an object. Now to understand, let's see some examples. He wants to go to a hill station. In this sentence, which is the object? How did I tell you that? You can find out which is the object in a sentence. To find out the object of a verb, object of a transitive verb, you need to add what or whom with the verb. In this sentence, which is the verb? In this sentence, the verb is actually wants. And if you will add wants what? if you will add what, a question word with this verb wants, then it will become a question, and then the answer would be what, to go. The answer would be to go to a hill station. So in this answer, actually when you add a question word what or whom in a verb, then the answer becomes the object of that verb. So here the answer is to go to a hill station. So in this object, which is the object? The object is to go, and again the object is actually an infinitive. An object is actually the first form of the verb with to. So you are seeing that the first form of the verb can be used can be used as a subject also in a sentence, and it can also be used as an object in a sentence. It is its second use. So it is actually the second use of infinitive. Infinitive can be used as an object also, and as a as a subject also, and as an object also of transitive verb in sentences. You can see some other examples also to understand this. Student, tomorrow we will see some more uses of infinitives, and then we will read the second kind of infinitives, participles. At the same time, student, you have to revise or do the exercise yourselves at home if you have the grammar book, and if you don't, I will give you some exercise also. And whatever you are reading here online, you need to revise that, and you need to note down everything properly in your copies. And at this moment, I think I will suggest you self study is the best form of study. You need to concentrate and focus, and especially utilize the time. Do not waste the time that you have right now. Do not waste them in doing useless things. Just try to concentrate and focus on study. Focus more and more on study rather than other things.